you guys, welcome to my channel, Life Speaking Food. Good food for every soul and a word for every heart. Hey you guys, it's Chef Dolores today. And today someone requested a high-end appetizer. So I am going to do just that. So when I was in school, we made what we call a Scottish egg or Scotch egg. So that is what we're making today. It's definitely something different. So as we go along, I'll explain the ingredients and we'll finish it off with an awesome picture. And hang around because my business is Life Speaking Food. Good food for every soul and a word for every heart. So after giving you a good meal, I'm going to give you one of my own personal spoken words. So first thing first, let's get in the kitchen. Let's get started and make us a Scottish egg or Scotch egg. Let's go. Okay, you guys, so here's the 2 eggs here. So it's so important to have the eggs completely submerged in the water, totally covered. That's so important. You want to add salt. The salt is very important for cooking eggs. It helps them cook quicker. It helps with the pH balance, and it also helps it peel easier and the egg to come out really, really smooth. So you guys see how my eggs are completely covered, and we are going to bring this to a simmer, not a boil. And we want not completely hard boiled eggs as well. We want to get a soft boil. So we're going to let this cook for approximately 5 to 6 minutes, and you don't want to time it until it gets to start to simmer. So we're going to go ahead and get that started, and I'll bring it back so you guys can see how the eggs are simmering. And from that point, I am going to time it for like 5 to 6 minutes. So you have your hard-boiled egg, you have a soft boil, and some people will call it like a jam egg, which is somewhat in the middle. So I'm okay with a jam egg or soft boil. I do not want a hard boil. So let's get going and see how this goes. Okay, you guys, as you can see, it is coming to a simmer. Boiling is big bubbles, and simmering is small bubbles. I call it like tickle bubbles or shiver bubbles. I don't know, but I have a name for everything, I know. So we're gonna go ahead and start our timer. Remember, we're only going to do this for 6 minutes because we want a jam type of filling in the egg that comes from the color of the egg, the yolk of the egg inside. And we don't want a hard boiled egg. So let's let this go. So I've been talking, 30 seconds? So we got like 5 minutes on this egg. And when we cut it open at the end, you guys will see. All right, let it continue. Okay, you guys, so it is coming along. So for simmer, you want to keep your water temperature like 185 to like 200. You don't want to go over that. So I'm just going to check this just to see how I'm doing with this. And I have a thermometer. It's so important as a chef to always have a thermometer on you. It actually helps keep the food safe. That is important to know. So I'm changing my thermometer now to Fahrenheit. So let's see what we get as far as temperature. There we go. So we're there, you guys. And we got like 1 more minute on these eggs. So let's go from there. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna go ahead and we're going to remove these eggs. So first I'm gonna drop some ice in water. We're gonna do a little shocking here. Shock the egg. You know how you go from a hot environment to a cold environment, your body is like, woo! It's like you're shocking the body. Well, that's what we're doing with the eggs. We are shocking these eggs. Why we're doing that? Because for the cooking process, we want it to stop, and we also want it to be easy to peel away. So that's important. Because you want a nice smooth egg. However, you're not going to see the outside of the egg. But when you get ready to cut into it, we want that effect. And so it's so important for the color of the egg. And these are actually eggs that I got from a farm. So we're going to see how this comes out. And we're going to go ahead and peel it. And we'll see how it goes. Okay. And it continues. Okay, so let's get these eggs peeled. I'm gonna have to remove my gloves to do this, so that's important. Now, if you're working in the restaurant environment, you wanna always use gloves, so important. So we're gonna go ahead, crack it. I'm gonna go ahead and peel it away. So hopefully this is easy and I shocked them long enough. You want to make sure that you get that membrane off of there. It's a really thin lining that surrounds the egg. I'll show you if I can. Oh, it won't let me. It's so attached to the shell. Well, there's a little bit right there. See that? So, once we go ahead and peel this egg, we're going to drop it right back in this bath. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other one. You hear that crack? It's easy. Some people put it on the surface and hit it. It doesn't matter how you do it, but I always use like some type of knife or fork just to hit the heavier base part of it. You guys probably could see the membrane a little bit on here. I'm not for sure. Let me see if I can show you. And I'm quite sure you guys have seen the thin membrane. If you're making deviled eggs for people, there it is again. See it close there? There's a membrane. You know, some people are real picky about eggs. I'm a little picky about them as far as how they're cooked. I don't like my eggs scrambled well. And I don't like my boiled eggs cooked all the way. So, let me move this ice out the way so you guys can see. Those are our eggs. So we're going to move these over to where it needs to be. And we will get started, you guys. Those are the eggs. They're all peeled. Okay, you guys. So now we have our eggs. They're boiled. So what we're going to do now, we're going to make the remoulade. So the base of a remoulade is the mayo. So I have some leftover homemade mayo that I made, and we're going to get that all together. So we have our mayo, hot sauce, honey Dijon, horseradish, some scallions. We have garlic, and I have here some capers, some dill pickles I made a while back with some sweet pickles. And this here is smoked paprika. So this is going to be our sauce that we're going to have after we make our Scotch egg. So this is the chorizo that we're going to wrap the egg up in. But the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and make our remoulade. So let's move the chorizo out the way. All right. And this is really simple, you guys. I think it's just really just about a lot of balance and flavor. is so important. You want that color, which is going to come from the hot sauce, and it also is going to come from the paprika. So we're going to go ahead and dump that. And I am a smoked paprika girl. I don't even buy regular paprika anymore. So we're going to put the hot sauce in there. We're only going to really balance this really well as far as color. So I'm going to keep some to the side, and we're going to go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients in there. So we have our capers, our pickles, we have our scallions going in there. We have our garlic. You've got to have that, you guys. You've got to have all of these ingredients matter. It's going to be a little kick to this too, because you have that horseradish in here. Okay. All right. So, and then we're going to kind of set this aside, and we're going to keep it in the refrigerator until we get ready to plate. So it's really simple. It's not hard to do remoulade sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that hot sauce in there. And it all depends on your taste. And we also know that when you add liquid to a solid base like this, it thins out the sauce. But remember, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, so it's going to thicken up again. So if you guys look closely, that is the remoulade sauce. It's that simple. So we're going to go ahead and get this in the refrigerator, and then we are going to come back and set up our breading station so that we can go ahead and wrap the eggs. Okay, let's get going.
Okay, you guys, so we have our chorizo sausage, and it's just enough here to pat out. And then we have our panko breadcrumbs, which I like the Japanese better. Then we have our egg wash here, which is actually some hot sauce in there and smoked paprika. I'm not using any more seasonings because you get a lot of seasoning from the chorizo. So that's very important. And then the eggs have to be totally pat dry. So important that they're pat dry. So we're going to take this first one here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. We want to make sure that the sausage is completely covering the egg. That is so important. So that's what I'm doing right now, getting this all covered up. And I love chorizo, but you can use whichever sausage that you like, just to make sure that it's completely covering the egg. So that takes a little time, as you can see. I'm trying to make sure that I have everything covered here before I even start doing the breading procedure. So normally with the breading procedure also, you see a flour method in the beginning, and then you have an egg wash, and then you have the panko. But I am not doing that type of breading procedure for this. I have my seasonings in my egg wash, and I don't need the flour because I'm totally depending on the panko breadcrumbs to give me that nice crunchy texture that I want. And that is so important. So I'm just trying to make sure I get this all shaped and covered completely. And it's not really a lot. So as you can see, we got that done. So we're going to go ahead and get started and do the other one, get that shaped up, and you guys just kind of stand by and we will go from there. Let's go. Hey, you guys, so these are their chorizo that had them in the refrigerator for a little bit, just to get that nice and firmness around there. Let it just kind of have a conversation in the refrigerator, get nice and molded together. That is so important. So this is it, nice and tight. So look at that. It's like a shape, y'all. I'm just holding it together just to make sure that we stay firm when we get ready to fry. So some people might not feel like they need to put it in the refrigerator, but that's your own personal choice if you decide to do that. But for me, I just like each step to make sure that each part is holding together. So I patted the eggs off, then I put the chorizo around there nice and tight, and then I let them go in the refrigerator for a little bit and let them sit there. And now we're all ready to put them in our seasoned egg wash and everything and get these things going, you guys. This is gonna come out perfect. So for me to have a perfect ball, not quite possible, but we are definitely going to make it work, you guys. So let's get it going. Okay, you guys, so this is my deep fryer and we have it at 400 degrees. As you know, as you drop the food, the temperature drops. So I want to cook these on 375. So I have it at 400 and it will drop as I drop my Scotch eggs in there. So it should be nice and hot. So it's so important. I don't want to just drop them and let them swim around loosely. I want to somewhat cage them so they're not floating all over the place. So that's important. So look at it. See how it looks? It's nice and solid, all holding together. So we're going to go ahead and get them into the basket. And now we're going to go ahead and drop them. So I'm going to cook these until they're nice and golden brown. We know that when you are cooking pork, which chorizo is pork, it has to cook to an internal temperature of 160 degrees. It's a food safety. So let's go ahead and drop these, and I will check to make sure that they are cooked. And I won't put my thermometer all the way in there, just to the meat portion, just to check the temp to make sure that it's completely done. So we want them a nice golden, darker tone brown, and now it's at 400. So let's go ahead and drop them. There they go. So I was hoping that because I took it to the line where it says that it would completely cover the Scotch eggs. So I'm going to have to manipulate it here a little bit just to turn them. Look at it. It's already turning golden brown already. And of course the temperature is coming back up. So we are going to keep a watch out for these, you guys. These are going to be so good. And I love using my deep fryer because it allows me to make sure that the temperature stays where it needs to stay. And also I can keep a better watch and drop them both at the same time in the basket and bring them up at the same time as well. So that is very important, you guys. Keeping an eye on them, making sure they're cooking to the proper temperature for food safety, and it allow your food to come out perfect. Okay, you guys, this is exactly how I wanted it to come out. I left the whole one solid, but I cut one open so you guys can see the jammy look. I didn't want it hard boiled, but it is medium boiled. I call it the jammy. And that's the remoulade sauce. And this, you guys, is your Scotch egg. Having a relationship with God, we can accomplish any challenge that's set before us. Living a religious life creates a defeated, hidden loss at all times. The enemy just dressed it up as a win worthy of the Lord, but the Lord sees it as out of touch of understanding His word and our purpose.